And go here. Perfect. All right, welcome to the Citizens of Natstown podcast. I'm your host, TJ Lannemeyer. We have James O'Hara.
Hello.
Sean Hogan.
Hello.
Alyssa Wallace.
Hi.
I know we didn't test these mics at all before you started, so
I tested mine. I know mine works.
yeah,
Yours is appearing.
yeah, okay, you can see mine a little bit there.
And you guys?
Does mine work? Hello. Hello. Hello.
There we go. That's a little better.
You'll have to speak up, Sean.
It's okay. I just won't say anything of use like always.
But then, see, the problem is then you just have dead air. So,
Yeah, just like I normally talk.
But see, you still make noise, which is still pleasing to the ears, even if it's like dumb noise. But if you just make no noise, then it's like, what are they just sitting there talking about nothing for? And then just go say, yeah, that's a good point, Sean.
No one would ever
what was
say
his
that.
Point? I can't believe it. What did he say?
I have no good points ever.
So we did a post-trade deadline show. It didn't work out technically as well as we wanted it to.
Didn't work out as well as the trade deadline did.
Tried to use new technologies, and it turned out it took up a lot of computing power. My laptop could not handle trying to run all of it at one time, while also still looking at Twitter and everything else.
Which, speaking of which, this should make for a fun experiment to see if this thing just dies as we're trying to do this.
Right, but at least in this case, we're all in the same place, and if it dies, we can restart. The problem with so we tried a new technology that it would record all of us individually and then sync it all up so that it would sound like it was one recording, and then you can put it together. But then my browser crashed halfway through, and so that part wasn't able to get uploaded. So we had 48 minutes of Sean, 48 minutes of TJ, and 21 minutes of me. And another 27 minutes that were being shown, which is amazing. But TJ couldn't download. So now nobody gets to hear our amazing opinions of Brandon Kinsler and Howie Kendrick, which is just too sad.
We can make them more
They were
amazing.
definitely very correct opinions.
Yeah.
We both said they'd be stars. We both thought Brandon Kinsler would be easily adaptable to the seventh inning and have no issue not closing anymore. We both definitely said Howie Kendrick would have a good 5-for-5 night coming up soon and definitely have a walk-off grand slam by the next time we record. So all in all, some good predictions there that nobody can hear, unfortunately, but we know we made them.
I can attest to everything James just said. It all happened.
So since the last time we did a real show, July 25th was the last time out, and we were watching them get destroyed by the Brewers 8-0.
Yeah.
Not much to talk about in that one.
No.
Next one up was the 26th. Nats went out, had a 7-run 8th inning, and took the game 8-5. And then the bats really came alive in the next game, 15-2, where they hit 4 home runs in a row and 5 and 6 batters in the third inning.
Stupid Daniel Murphy. Cut him.
So they hit 8 home runs in the game, and that tied the major league record? Or was the 4 and 5?
8 is not a major league record. The major league record is 10 in one game.
Okay.
So they tied the record for 4 in a row was a tie. If Murphy had hit 1, they would have broken it, and they would have super broken it to get to 6. And then 5 home runs and 6 batters was a record, though. Because anybody who had hit 5 in an inning before, they never hit it with 6 batters.
And also no one had ever hit 5 off of one pitcher in one inning. Everyone else got yanked because they sucked, but I guess the Brewers knew that they just needed him to eat it.
Right.
So they left him in.
Yeah. Then the Nats had the Rockies come to town, rained out on the 28th. Lost. Yeah, that'll be a continuing theme throughout the show. The 29th, they lost 4-2. The 30th was a doubleheader day. The early game saw Eric Fetty make his major league debut and got roughed up pretty hard in his 4 innings of work. 10 hits, 7 earned runs. And then National great Edwin Jackson started the second game. 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts.
And he looked relatively in control of the game.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Watching it because I was actually in the stadium because I was supposed to go to the Friday game and get this amazing T-shirt. And then said got it on Sunday night. But he's kind of continuing his pattern of he's going every other start. He's having a really good start, and then he's having a not so good start, which is good enough for your 5th starter. Pretty much you just want to make sure if you really want to use him in the playoffs, just have him make sure he has his one bad start right before a playoff start him one time, and then that's it. Don't let him come back.
What about if we threw him like sim games in between starts in
There
the
you go.
playoffs?
Well, I don't know if that will count or not, but it's nice to see him back. Mostly because it's just kind of fun when the Nationals actually have a real history now that they can like draw players back in. So it's not quite the one-day contract to retire as a national kind of thing, but it's all kind of cool that they've been around long enough that we can have players. Levon Hernandez, they had the same thing where he was here for the first couple of years and got traded and then came back for another year or two. But it's kind of nice that it's starting to pick up a little more. You get to see guys who it's like, old friends.
Can't wait until we do the same thing with Eddie Romero in 5 to 10 years. Comes back for his retirement tour after he wins the Cy Young as a reliever.
Just like Eric Gagne.
Mm-hmm.
So the Nats then went to Miami. And actually, the night that we were recording the trade deadline show, Gio takes a no-hitter into the 9th.
Yeah, and the only reason it ended is because we finished the show before the 9th. So then we all watched it, and one of us jinxed it.
We all turned it on.
I had to get up to go to the bathroom, so it was me. I had to stay in my seat.
I messaged from afar, so I think it was me.
Oh, yeah, it was Alyssa. Yeah, I take that back. It was all Alyssa.
I got like 3 or 4 messages while we were recording that, like from my dad and a couple other people like, so are you watching the game?
My dad even thinks that that's superstitious. He's like, if he wasn't talking to me before, he won't start talking to me then.
No, my dad was just like, Gio's pitching a good game through 6. Gio's pitching a good game through 7. Pretty good game.
So the Nats took that one 1-0. Next night, the Nats score 6 in the top of the second, which included Max Scherzer's first career home run. And then he proceeded to leave the game and leave all of us very, very afraid for what the next news was. And then, it turned out he slept funny.
Yeah, and luckily that was one of the few times they've actually given us an injury update, like almost immediately. Mm-hmm. So everybody's really excited to tell us. I was listening to the radio broadcast, and both Kevin, the fill-in for Dave Jagler, and Charlie both came in and told us the news that Max Scherzer slept wrong, which was really funny. I assume one of them was in the bathroom to start the inning.
Yeah, I was at some event, and like I got all of these texts. I was like, Max Scherzer. And then it was like, oh no, Max Scherzer. And I'm like, what happened? And then I look, and I'm like, when I logged onto Twitter, it started from like where I lost logged in. So it's like, oh no, he came out of the game. He's injured. No one knows what's wrong. And I'm like, oh shit, we're dead. And then 2 seconds later, I find out what actually happened. So it was fine. I had to breathe. I had a lot less worrying, just like the JD Martinez, Victor Robles thing. I missed that too. I missed Strasburg getting hurt or not. Yeah. And then I missed Harper getting hurt too. So.
Wow. You're really missing a lot.
Yeah.
So you should really stay logged on at all times, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, Scherzer leaves after an inning, and the Nats end up what you would expect, a bullpen that, aside from the back end of it that was acquired, the rest of it hasn't been particularly great, and they're relied on to throw 8 innings at that point.
That's the first game after the trade deadline, and the bullpen blew a 6-1 lead. 6-0 lead. They're the worst bullpen ever.
You really got to stop getting 6-0 leads. That's the real lesson here. So, it's the most dangerous lead in baseball.
That's a fair point. So they lost the series to Miami, head to Chicago to face the Cubs, and just making a note here, they don't have Scherzer, Strauss is on the DL, and Gio's on the paternity list. So they go in without their 3 top pitchers. They have 1 healthy starting outfielder, and their starting shortstop is not playing either. and they go in and take 2 out of 3 from Chicago.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was fun.
They took 4-2 on the 4th, lost 4-7 on the 5th.
Fetty.
Yeah, it was Fetty again. And then
Fetty spaghetti.
won 9-4 on the 6th with a 5-run 8th capped off by a Weeders grand slam.
I did tune in right when Weeders came up, so I will take credit for that.
Matt Weeders only hits when there are runners on base. Only when there's some sort of glory to be gained. If he's just hitting himself to first base, who the cares? I only give a shit if there's a runner on third and there's 2 outs and I'm the only one who can get him in.
I think that I might run faster than Matt Weeders too.
Yeah, he's not fleet of foot by any means.
Is he faster than Ramos? Because that's we are really not. We don't care at all about our catcher's
It's
foot
a
speed.
race I'd like to see.
I know, because it's kind of hard to tell because Ramos stopped trying to run hard after he kept pulling his hamstring every other day. So then he was just no more running for Wilson Ramos. And not that he was very fast to begin with, but I don't know if Weeders, if Ramos is actually trying to run, maybe he might be able to beat Weeders.
Well, actually, Weeders doesn't
himself.
run anyways. He just stands in place and the world revolves under him.
Nats came home to face Miami again. Scherzer back in the lineup on the 7th. They take the game 3-2. Go to the 8th. They lose 7-3. The 9th.
That was a classic Max Scherzer, just to interrupt you.
Mhm.
This is really funny that they won 3-2, and it felt like he really didn't do that well.